how you can find a winning product for pet niche. So if you guys are trying to figure out how to find a winning product for pet niche, I'm gonna go over this with you. And yeah, I mean, this is very lucrative niche, guys. If you know how to find the winning product, you could spawn money. The most important part to understand about a product, it's not just one thing, it's combination of multiple factors. And I wanted to cover those factors so this way you could better understand them. So the first factor and the most important part is obviously finding a product that has this instant factor that when you look at it, it's just it's something unique. It's something that hasn't been fully seen and absorbed by the market, and that's the first thing. You want something instant. Then you want something that is easily sellable. So when you create content, you wanted to make sure that whatever the product that you create the content for, that it's easy to describe and sell, versus let's say supplements or anything like this, which is a lot harder because you have to work extra harder in your marketing in order to do anything with supplements. So if you're a beginner, I don't recommend doing supplements. If you are bougie boss mom who's trying to do like other products that are instant, then I highly recommend like pet industry, or it could be any other niche. But the bottom line is, guys, the most important part is you want to make sure that it's instant. The second part is it needs to produce 4 to 5x margin. So meaning it needs to make sense financially. When you order the product, you want to make sure that it's actually resold for greater value. And to do that, you need to be connected with the correct supplier, because if you try to do this in locally over here in US, you're gonna pay too much money for the product. That doesn't mean you shouldn't really use the US fulfillment center to go ahead and try something. It's just you're gonna be working extra harder because you're gonna be taking the path of testing the waters with kind of a US related supplier, which is going to be hitting extra commission, and at the end of the day, it's just going to be extra steps that you're going to be taking. Of course, you want to be avoiding extra steps, so you might as well start off with a product supplier in China. And of course, you got to have some distributors in a mix. You have to have centers as well, where you allow where you bring all of your products directly into US data center. Well, not a data center, but fulfillment center. And inside of those fulfillment center, what's happening, there's all sorts of sorting activities, all sorts of combinations of different things that are happening in order to ship your product. So, and of course, this is where the products get shipped to your TikTok fulfillment center, and then it gets just distributed to the rest of the customers. So how do you do this? How do you pull this off? How do you find the viral product? How do you make this work, guys? This is what I'm going to quickly cover. So the first factor, as I mentioned, is it has to be instant. The second factor, it needs to be something that is within 3x to 4x margins. So what does that mean? You have to make really good profits. So that's the second factor. Now, how do you make very good profits? It's easily said than done. So the easiest way for you to increase those profits is to think of a product not just as a one thing, but think of a product as a combination of multiple things. So in simple words, when you start asking yourself a question, if let's say I was a shopper and I was trying to find a dog brush, and I came across Amazon and I sold that brush for $9.99, but you as a drop shipper, you went ahead and you purchased this brush, and somehow you ended up with a brush that cost let's say $35. Why would a person who went to Amazon why would they buy yours for $35 versus $9.99 brush? So, and thank you guys for joining and allocating a little bit of your time, and spilling the tea and explaining how you can spawn somebody. So squabble up, everybody. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. And I'm seeing some I am emo, Zara. I'm seeing some characters, I don't understand the language. So but yeah, guys, look, so the most important thing that moms over 40 ask me, they say, Rome, but like I don't get it. Like, why would people buy your pet brush versus some pet brush on Amazon where you don't even need to like click on anything, go to extra carts. Like, why would anybody do that? 90% of the people shop on Amazon. Why would they go to your store? This is a one pushback I get a lot when I teach this, guys. A lot of people, the reason why I get pushback is because it requires a little bit of abstract thinking to understand why would somebody buy something for, let's say, $30 versus $9. And I'm gonna describe that to you. Once you learn this, it's gonna start making sense. And once you learn it, it's gonna make so much sense that you're gonna be like, damn, I want to do this. And keeps on their mind, when you do this, you're not excluding other possibilities of spawning money on like Amazon. This is an addition to like TikTok. This model is an addition to TikTok Shop. This is an addition to drop shipping from your own like suppliers, 3PL suppliers. This is an addition to Amazon FBA. So if you guys are like on the edge and thinking like, oh, why would anybody buy this, whatever, right? Like, guys, this is an extra revenue stream, and you could still sell things on Amazon. But when you do that, you might as well do it across all the places, all the stores, wherever you can sell your product at. Like, you definitely want to be using Shopify. You want to be using Go High Level. You want to be using WAP. You want to be showing your products everywhere, guys, including on Amazon, including on TikTok, and including in your own store, like as I mentioned, and Go High Level. But the most important part for you guys is to start with something, because I often see a lot of moms get overwhelmed. They see all those different ways for where you could sell things, and they start chasing every one of those ways and end up not doing anything at all. And in fact, kind of spending colossal amount of time like learning, trying to understand how to create a store, spending like 8 hours on creating a store, where literally, guys, it should not take you more than 1 hour to create a fire looking store. It could be on Go High Level, and once you create that store, it's just smooth sailing afterwards. After that, it's just you testing, you're doing the testing, you're running meta ads and other generic ads, and see what pops, and then effectively get your UGC creators start creating some of that content and start getting more products fulfilled on a more at a greater scale. But you want to do this on a micro scale with a quality assurance testing and all sorts of other bells and whistles, so this way you guys don't lose your shirt when you do that. But of course, just kind of keep something in mind, like the biggest reason why a lot of people are intimidated by this model is because they immediately start thinking like, oh, I need to spend an insane amount of money, I need to do this, and I don't have that money, I don't know how I could start. I literally tell moms over 40, the reason why you are like you kind of stopping yourself and sabotaging yourself is because nobody explained to you like, yo, check this out, you could literally spawn money just by getting fire looking product from China. All you need is to just try it with one product, get really comfortable, and then proceed with the next one. But you need to do this quickly. If you're going to do this like within, let's say you start researching a product and you start researching it and be like, damn, I spent like I got cooked, I spent like 2 weeks researching, then of course you're gonna lose, because there's other people who are quickly researching, like 20-year-old kids out there spawning money, driving Lambos with this model. They literally researching things super quick and moving on to the next product. So now, how do you solve that problem? How do you do this quick? How do you pick a product that is winning product, and you could do this in a way that you can actually compete? And how far is far? How far should you go in terms of promoting your product? Guys, it should all be gradual. It should not be like all in one shot where you go ahead and order 1,000 supplies from China and then start like fulfillment of all the customers. No, you want to do like small sample. You want to take the minimum viable sample just for your UGC creators and for yourself and for your virtual assistant or your like whoever's your partner. And you want to ship those products to yourself. You want to have a supplier from China. If you guys don't have one, don't worry, I'll hook you up. And essentially what that supplier does, that supplier orders a bunch of products on behalf of you locally from Chinese suppliers. that you're going to identify on a site called 1688. So this way you don't lose your shirt paying for any of the American suppliers that just way overcharge. Like this is, if you start doing this from Alibaba, AliExpress, you're totally going to get cooked. You're not going to have those margins available. So if you do this the right way, guys, if you like get your supplier, tell your supplier, yo, go ahead and like go ahead and order some mini samples from different kind of factories out there in China. And what supplier does, supplier organizes all of this and organizes the shipment all the way to your 3PL centers. And 3PL is basically like a company in US, because TikTok is not going to just let you ship products directly from China into their location. They're going to be like, nah, we can't allow you that, because effectively the reason why, because it takes 5 days. They have the requirement for you to ship any kind of products within 5 days. So you definitely don't want to be you don't want to be cooked selling anything under, like, going outside of that time period, etc. So definitely, guys, so how do you do this? How do you navigate through all those complexities without getting lost? So the most important thing which you guys got to understand when it comes to iterating through viral products is the marketing angle and the upsell angle. What I typically do for the pet industry niche, I introduce multiple upsell opportunities on a recurring basis. For example, there's categories of bag refills that you could introduce for the pet industry. So people constantly get those, rebuy those bags, for example, poop bags. And that's a recurring thing that people could continuously buy over and over and over again. So what I do is I create fire-looking offer that takes a product, finds a fire-looking instant product. What I do is I squabble up with some of those engineers out there in China, tell them modify it slightly based on the research that gets conducted with ChatGPT. I let it cook on ChatGPT. I let it come back to me with whatever the product addition I could do that will maximize my chances of making profit, and that is something that haven't been seen yet. And engineers goes ahead, modifies the product to include extra feature for whatever the kind of dog related product that I want to spice up. Next thing I do is I just have all of those products shipped to my supplier facilities in China, and that supplier obviously does the quality assurance and sends everything to 3PL centers. And as a result, what I do is I obviously, not only does he send it all of those like samples to my 3PL locations, but also I get samples, minimum viable number of samples sent to myself. So this way I could quickly create UGC video just real quick, and have my virtual assistant create a UGC video, have a bunch of UGC creators also create those videos, but they do that in phases even before I ship out the products. So guys, this is a lot of tea. Nobody actually covers those details, and it's actually money. It's really like, if you understand those phases of what's happening behind the scenes, you're just gonna be printing money, guys. I have one of my buddies literally driving a Lambo now. He's only like 20 years old. He's doing nothing but this model, and he's actually not even doing the TikTok model. He's just using the drop shipping model altogether. He's not even using TikTok. Imagine if you use TikTok plus drop shipping in combination, guys. So this is kind of crazy. That's what I wanted to let you guys know. If you want to learn how to pull this off, all you got to do is DM the word PAF on my Insta. You learn this, how to pick a winning product, how to combine it with a recurring based offer in a way that is going to make sense and going to maximize chances of somebody coming back. There's a lot of pre-cooking going on there. You got to create a bunch of email nurturing campaigns and automations and all sorts of funnels, video funnels, text funnels, to hit your customers from multiple directions, so this way they come back. So we do that. We show all of that to you in my community. You could join my community. You could learn that. Once you start learning, you could start off with try before you commit option. This is where you get an opportunity to literally just be given a product, and then you learn your way for how to market it. And then down the road, when you get your feet wet, see if you wanted to actually become the feudal lord and grow your feudal kingdom a lot better and spawn some money a bit more by effectively start drop shipping products yourself for your own brand. That's what we do for bougie boss moms over 40. We help them squabble up with virtual assistants and UGC creators and help you guys spawn some money real quick. But of course, guys, remember the most important part is that viral product. If you are like literally spending more than 2 months trying to research a product and thinking you're gonna have that hit, forget about it, guys. Literally, you need to be iterating through the product no more than like 3 hours research. That's it. That's all you got to do. 3 hour research, and with my AI content driven automations, it's going to be reduced even further. It's just you're gonna have a bunch of AI tools literally doing that research, coming back to you, giving you the rating for the product to see if it's going to be fire product or not, and then you just run with it. You run with it, and then you introduce additional upsells. If you start learning right away what kind of upsells you want to introduce in the beginning, from inception, then of course it's gonna increase your profits right away, because essentially you're gonna be able to construct more appealing offer, and that offer is gonna start converting into money. So rule number one: make sure it has a recurring revenue structure, a product that introduces a recurring revenue structure, unless the product is so fire that it can bypass that rule. But what you want to do, you want to introduce a great mix between one-time purchase type of product and the type of product that could be repurchased on a recurring basis. And that mix needs to be it needs to be introduced in such a way that encourages person to purchase it. Not just one time, but on a recurring basis. And of course, this is something that you're going to learn how to pull off in my community. It will take a little bit of time for you to get used to and understand how those suppliers work, how the products work, what the criteria for the winning products, how to cook things up in ChatGPT, how to do this with AI content-driven automations. It will take a little bit of time, but over a longer time period, you're going to be able to start kind of gradually adapting to this whole business model, and sooner or later you'll be spawning money, guys. You'll be so happy. You're gonna be cooking your own AI content driven automations and your research automations, launching all sorts of orchestration agents. They're gonna be doing all sorts of activities for you: research activities, marketing activities, reaching out to suppliers, and coming back to your VAs. Your VAs are pretty much just gonna be they're going to be controlling the feudal kingdom while also orchestrating all of those AI bots. And that's basically what we do as part of my talent agency. If you guys are interested in learning more for how to pull this off, how to squabble up together with other bougie boss moms and squabble up with UGC creators, and heck, what we even offer is for moms over 40 to squabble up with UGC creators. And so this way those UGC creators can create a bunch of fire looking videos. And sure, you got to pay them on a recurring basis and a monthly basis, but the result is phenomenal, guys. The result, like, if you don't pay money, you don't make money. That's how it works, guys. That's what I had to figure out the hard way. That's what I had to figure out the hard way. Like, literally, guys, think about it. I'm gonna give you the comparison of how much difference it makes if you were to pay money versus not paying money, and then you decide if this is for you or not. So, like, if you were to pay to micro influencers to go ahead and blast and like create fire looking content, and you versus not paying micro influencers and just using like generic meta ads, guys, difference is night and day. What you want to be doing is, of course, you want to be doing kind of combination of both generic ads and using UGC creators. But at the end of the day, guys, let's say if I had to compare apples to apples and say, what is better, micro influencers that create a fire looking content, or just meta ads that just look brain dead, like corporate style, generic style? Obviously, I'm gonna say micro influencers are gonna be a lot better. Why? Because they have this a unique factor. They have the trust factor between their tribe. Even if they have small number of followers, they still have this passionate factor. And if you introduce them like a retainer on a monthly basis, and if you pay them the feudal share, so what you would pay to get the most maximum value, you would pay them feudal share. Essentially, you would pay them monthly retainer to keep them, and obviously you want to give them a commission as well. So that's what's gonna help you guys out. If you don't, like I said, guys, if you don't do that, you don't spawn money. Like, this is just how it works. If you really wanted to spawn insane amount of money, you need to pay for those micro influencers. And of course, my talent agency can help you get connected with those micro influencers. And yeah, guys, it's totally worth it. And because trying to reach out to them yourself, create relationships, or even using any of those sites, many of those sites are scam. They literally just rip people off, rip brand owners off, and you don't really get the accountability that you should be getting. And as a result, you're just constantly having to follow up with them and be like, yo, did you create the content, but your supplier, the product's already being shipped and the timeline is running out. There's competitors right behind you breathing down your neck, but your creators haven't created anything, guys. So you don't want to be in a situation like this. That's why you want to be introducing this is why you want to be squabbling up together with my talent agency to help you guys get connected with those UGC creators. So that's basically how it works, guys. And yeah, I'm gonna get some food. I don't know what kind of food I'm gonna get, but I'll probably get something. I'll see you guys next time.